Florida, they said. A bit of winter sun, they said. Well, here we are in Bradenton, Florida, for the 2020 SPD World's Strongest Man. And as if a global pandemic wasn't enough to deal with, Hurricane Eta has gone and shown up. And it's a windy one. Still, this is Strongman, and come hell or high water, this show goes on. We've got the big man in town, we've got the church hall books as well, and we've got an extra big quota of Brits.
I love Strongman. It's just because it's the ultimate. It's been 10 years of kind of hard graft. It's plain and simple. I want to win World's Strongest Man.
It's almost like a bug, a disease. I just always want to come in the gym, get better, get stronger. There is no limits, there is no ceiling.
To be honest, since growing up as a kid, I always want to be strong. Because my bones, I could feel it in my bones, you know, you just want to go lift heavy stuff. I just want to do it forever.
Testing yourself against the best guys in the world is such a buzz. It's such a good feeling.
You know, when we go on that battlefield, that's game time. And I'm not taking any prisoners. I'm wanting to rip through everyone. I've set like a massive goal for myself, like win World's Strongest Man, and when I win it, you know, that's going to be like, you know, someone with autism has just done something that nobody in the world could probably imagine.
If you want to be World's Strongest Man, you've got to live and die for it. When all is said and done, and I sign out of this sport, I want to be the strongest man who's ever lived.
Wow, I can't wait to see them all in action. So it turns out the church hall was booked, but we've got the Bradenton Convention Centre, which is going to be our home for what looks like being a very unconventional competition this year. Apart from the hurricane, which has moved the heats indoors, there's also the global pandemic, which means this year there's no crowds and no families. It's just the athletes, mano a mano, and a pure strength showdown. Woo! One thing I'm delighted to say hasn't changed, and that's our commentators, Colin Bryce and Danny Wallace.
Well, thank you, James. And here we are then. We're off. World's Strongest Man 2020. 25 supersized men split into 5 heats of 5. 2 men proceed from each heat to give us our 10-man final, where only one will emerge as the world's strongest man. We start then with Group 1. We had a meeting, we thought that made sense, starring none other than Europe's strongest man, Luke Richardson.
Yes, the youngest ever European champion, Danny. Unbelievable static strength, a world powerlifting champion, and still only 23.
Still lives at home with his mum and dad. The meals that poor woman must have to cook. This man moved out of home a long time ago when his bed got too small. Robert Oberst, the American monster. He plays it up a bit. He's quite nice, really. Then we move on to this guy, Gabriel Pena. Not a familiar face, Colin.
No, but he represents Mexico, and he comes here with plenty of pride and tons of back strength.
Tons of hair, too. On to another debutante, Pa O'Dwyer from Ireland. Just the second Irishman to make it to World's Strongest Man. Managed to get here despite having a 6-month-old child at home.
Yes, his wee boy Freddie.
But he's not that wee. And last but no means least, it's Jerry, the Iron Outlaw Pritchett.
Yes, the sheet metal worker from Arizona, one of the toughest men you'll ever meet. So, 25 men start, 5 in this heat, 2 will go forward to the final 10.
But who will they be? Back to James, and a warm hello to the man we like to call the Beast.
Well, he's back with us again this year, the 2017 World's Strongest Man, Eddie Hoare. Eddie, you're still looking in great shape, almost like you've been training for something.
I have been training for something, indeed.
All right, tell us about that in a second, because first I want to ask you about the incredible lineup of British athletes this year. In Heat 1, we've got Luke Richardson going. He's only 23 years of age. To put things in perspective, how is he doing compared to how you were doing at that time?
Well, at 23, I'd only won the England Strongest Man, and I hadn't made it to World's Strongest Man. Luke has won Europe's, and he's made it to World. So I mean, in terms of static strength, squat, bench, deadlift, and titles, he's ahead of me at that age.
Wow. So he's a genuine bona fide contender for this year?
100%, yes.
It is a really different year as well, not least the fact that because we've got no crowds, there's none of the usual support that athletes will bring with them. I mean, some of them will have these kind of 20-man hype crews in branded T-shirts, etc. How much will that impact on the athletes?
For some people, they will crumble. You know, they like having a support system. People like myself, I like to be a sole worker.
Right.
Concentrate on the job. If you've got your missus there, your kids there, they're going to distract you. You want to keep your mind on the job.
Okay. Now, one of the unique things about this year is the fact that last year's podium are not here. Kielowski and Martins Licis both are injured, and Thor has retired. You want to explain to us why Thor has retired?
Yeah, well, I'm afraid he's busy training, ready to get knocked out by Mawar.
In a boxing match?
In a boxing match.
You two are going to have a boxing match?
Yeah, I mean, as you know, we've had a bit of history, a bit of back and forth over the years, and it's all come to a head now. So we're going to have a good fisticuffs and settle the score.
I see. All right, well, back to this year's World's Strongest Man. The fact that Thor's not here and Kielowski and Licis and everybody else is here means that they've got a really wide open field to aim at. Who's your tip for the title?
I mean, it's got to be Brian Shaw. It's his to lose, really. He's coming, he's looking absolutely massive, super strong, super fit. If he makes a mistake, then I'm afraid someone like the Stoltman brothers could well sneak in here. Luke or Tom, either of them could win this title. So it's Brian's to lose, in my opinion.
Fascinating. The 2020 SBD World's Strongest Man begins with the quite pleasant sounding Farmer's Walk. Let's hand over to Colin and Danny.
Does sound pleasant. It is, though, very unpleasant to do. 60 seconds is all you have to carry two of these implements as far as you can. Basically, get it from safe zone to safe zone. You can put it down, turn around. But if you drop it on the way, you're all done. And Pau Dwyer does not want to do that, but grip is not his, well, strong point.
Yes, his right hand is very good, but his left hand had some damage years back, and he does struggle, especially with these thick grips. 660 pounds in total, Danny, and the first length is a full 12 metres. And then it's turnaround, 10 metres, 10. Oh, my goodness!
Well, that was a lot faster than we were expecting. And that's that for Pau Dwyer. Yes, his left hand has been giving him some problems there.
So unforgiving, this event. If you go down, it's terminated. Go is over, 7.83 metres. Not the best. Well, we can see his grips already opening up. That's his good hand. The other one down on the floor.
On to Jerry Pritchett then. We're expecting good things from him. Back for the first time in 5 years.
So strong, Pritchett. Great deadlifter.
Take your grip.
World renowned as a static lifter, but can he move with weights?
Ready.
Almost 40 years old. Oh, just locks and loads there. That's phenomenal power. And he looks rock steady.
Just proper determination.
All you have to do is just get those edges over the white line. If they drop short, you're in trouble. That's it, it's over. Magnus Ver Magnusson watches on, the head ref.
Well, real composure here from Jerry Pritchett.
22 metres down. Every time he makes another successful run, that'll be another 10. There we go, 32 metres now. And he's halfway on the clock.
And he's got real control over these implements as well. You really don't want them swaying or knocking against your knees or against each other.
That's a great point, actually, yeah. We saw the Irishman, they started to tilt in at the front and bang his knees. And that was just spelling the end. 42 metres. He's got 10 seconds. He might make it all the way.
Well, look at this. I think he will.
He does. He could turn and go. Does he realise the time?
What else has he got? Well, maybe just a couple of extra inches there from Jerry Pritchett. And some light applause there from Nick Best, which can still be heard in other countries. But 52 metres for Jerry Pritchett.
I think that's going to be really hard to beat, Danny. I think the only thing he could have done was maybe go faster. His grip was so solid. But what a start to his campaign.
So, the 2020 SBD World's Strongest Man is underway. We'll plough on with the Farmer's Walk when we return, and we'll get our first look at the future. Welcome back to the 2020 SBD World's Strongest Man in beautiful Bradenton. Situated on Florida's Gulf Coast with its white sandy beaches, birds, boats, and some of the friendliest folk in all of the United States. Plus, this week in Bradenton, a hurricane.
While the storm rages outside, there's an area of very high pressure building in our arena too. Over to Danny and Colin to bring us up to speed on Heat 1.
Well, thanks, James. And let's get ready to rejoin the action with the Farmer's Walk. Where already, well, Pa O'Dwyer representing Ireland. He managed 7.83 metres. His left hand giving him some trouble there, Colin.
Yeah, so disappointed with that. And then it was the turn of Jerry Pritchett, the Iron Outlaw, back after 5 years. And he is scary strong. Legendary grip and lower back strength, did not let out. 52 metres, that's the current leader.
Well, after Pritchett, representing Mexico, Gabriel Pena. Didn't do as well as he was hoping. Managed 9.89 metres.
Yes, the big hands sure do help. And Robert Oberst at 6'8", he's got mighty mitts. He slapped on the big paws and went for it. Jerry Pritchett's distance of 52 metres, though, still holds strong. Robert Oberst fell short at 38.87.
So, 4 men down, just 1 to go in this event, and it's Harrogate's finest. They call him the Future, which must put the pressure on poor Luke Richardson, but something tells me he wants to live up to that.
Luke Richardson!
Yeah, youngest athlete to compete in this year's World's Strongest Man 2020. And he's a big guy.
Which helps, which always helps.
Yeah, not quite as big as Oberst, but well over 6'2", and he'll be 25 stone in weight already. And a little shaky in the core there.
He is a little shaky, just relying on momentum there. He turns around, shakes it off.
He's got to take his time here. He really wasn't anywhere. You think how solid Pritchett was. He's nothing like that. Crikey, he's really gunning for it, though. Maybe he'll get into his swing here. Oh!
Well, that's unexpected. I thought that just grim determination would send him further there, Colin.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether it was the grip or whether he clipped his heels, but 20.13, he's right in the middle of the pack. 3rd place with that one. Let's have a look. Oof. Yes, he is clipping his heels. I think he was a little out of control. Probably just excited to be on the big stage, but also the fact that grip does come with age for sure.
Which will cheer a lot of middle-aged men up. But Jerry Pritchett is the winner of the Farmer's Walk with a brilliant 52 metres. And he joins James and Eddie in the gentleman's area.
Well, we're here with the winner of the first event of the 2020 SBD World's Strongest Man. It is the Iron Outlaw, Jerry Pritchett. Jerry, so good to see you back here at the finals and in exceptional form by the looks of it.
Yeah, it's good to be back. I've been excited to come back. It's been 5 years. I feel like I have a lot of unfinished business here, so this is redemption this year.
Because 2015, it ended on a sour note for you.
Yeah, I was hurt going into the final, tore my quad tendon in the heat, so I limped to the final, so very poor performance, so this is redemption this year.
All right.
Jerry, I heard a bit of a rumour you're like a descendant of some sort of tribe, like the Native American Chickasaw tribe. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, Chickasaw tribe comes from my granddad's side. Yeah, they're savage warriors. They go in, don't leave anything unturned, and that's why I plan to come to the competition today.
It was outstanding. The Farmers walked more than 10 metres further than your closest competitor.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about event 2 with that big grip on the deadlift?
Really good. Deadlift's one of my favorite events, so really good about deadlift.
All right, excellent. Congratulations on this, and best of luck with event 2.
Thanks, guys.
So he's optimistic. He's got every reason to be. What a performance there from Jerry Pritchett, 52 metres. And his countryman, Robert Oberst, in the 2nd place. So we assign the points, 5 points to Pritchett, 4 for Oberst. 3rd place so far, Luke Richardson. O'Dwyer in last place, meaning he'll go first in the next event. Which is this, the deadlift. I'll be honest, I could dress it up, but the rules are pretty simple. Lift that as many times as you can in 1 minute. There.
I see you're an expert, Danny.
Oh, absolutely. 345 kilos. And Pa O'Dwyer up first. How many reps will the Limerick Lion manage? And will he do it in rhyme?
So 760 pounds in the hands, 54.5 stone, Danny.
Also 12,200 ounces. And it's a pretty easy first lift for O'Dwyer.
Yes, indeed. There goes the 2nd rep. He only gets it when he fully locks out. The head referee is Magnus Fair Magnusson. keeping an eye on him. He's got to get the shoulders back, hips through. There we go.
Doing very well. 4 reps, 36 seconds to go.
He's got a powerlifting background, so I expect a decent number from him. I think probably 7 or 8 could be the winner in this kind of event. It's a huge weight.
Well, manages to lock out there. O'Dwyer for a 6th. Just taking a break.
I don't see many more. That really took it out of him. In fact, I think that's it.
That might well be it. He's going to hang up his emerald green power socks and take the 6.
I think he'd be pretty pleased with that one, you know. After the first event, the Farmer's Walk, when his grip let him down, to come back and reply with that, it shows he's in shape. He was ready to be here. He's worthy of being here. And that last rep, wow, once you start doing the double movement, jerking it up the thighs, that's when you know you're really on the edge.
So to speak. Gabriel Pena then, representing Mexico.
Pena.
Could easily be in a rock band. He should be in a rock band.
He looks a little like a well-fed Fabio, if you remember who he was.
One for the older demographic there. And he's off.
Down.
Wow, quite wide grip, which is surprising because it's biomechanically not advantageous. But really strong. He overcomes that with just some wild power. He's just a bull of a man, isn't he?
Well, this is a good showing for the man representing Mexico. Representing Mexico, he chose to. His father was Mexican. He's doing this in his honor.
Yes, he does live in Texas. And my goodness me, number 7, that's the lead. How far can he go? Double figures, maybe?
20 seconds still left on the clock for Pena to show what he's got and why he's here.
Oh, that took a bit of grunt just to finish that 8th off. He's very powerful off the floor. Passes the knees okay, and then, oh, he's going to have to double movement, try and jerk it. Nope.
Couldn't quite manage the 9th, but 8 reps. A brilliant result there for Gabriel Pena.
Yeah, that was a really good call from Magnus Ver Magnusson. He's judging that from head on, which is difficult. He's got the lead, 8 reps, but if you look at that last rep again, he nearly finished it off. I mean, you could have smiled and bluffed it and pretended you locked out, but no, he didn't do it.
So we move on then to Luke Richardson. Representing Britain, first time here, as we've established, wants to make a huge impact because we are expecting great things from him.
Yes, a junior world powerlifting champion, and this is probably his forte of the 3 powerlifting lifts, the squat, the bench and the deadlift. And yeah, looks really explosive off the floor. Very fast puller, throws everything into it, finishes it off nicely. Often a fast puller will suddenly just burn out super quickly. They look rock solid the rep before, and then that'll be it. 7 reps, that's ahead of the Irishman O'Dwyer.
He needs this one to equalize Pena. Just taking his time. 20 seconds left on the clock.
Ooh, the big shake is on, but he can get this if he just gives it one more heave.
Come on.
I think he is trying to bluff it there. No.
Well, he just couldn't hold it, didn't lock out. It was a good call from Magnus Ver Magnusson.
Really good call. The proof was he got pulled back to the ground. He was hoping just to get the down signal there, but 7 reps it is then for Richardson. He goes ahead of O'Dwyer, but 1 behind Pena. That's a surprise.
So we move on to this big guy. Robert Oberst calls himself the American Monster. These days used to be Pretty Boy Oberst. He's now in his monster phase.
he's a character, is Oberst. Just trying to get in under the bar. There's so much of him. 30 stone in body weight. He's a big boy, that's for sure. Weighed 100 kilos by the age of 11. Wow. The first one, that did not look pretty. Nor monstrous.
Well, a little bow there. 1 rep for Robert Oberst. playing tactically.
I don't think it's even tactical. I don't think he can do that many more. He's not a great deadlifter. He's a big squatter, big presser, but there's no point in killing himself for 3 reps. He's just done 1. He'll get his 1 point for this event then. 1 man to go.
And that man is Jerry Pritchett.
The United States of America.
Currently first overall.
He was so good in the Farmer's Walk, wasn't he? Just mean as. And look how wide his grip is. Goodness me, he's like an Olympic weightlifter.
Down.
He's brilliant, isn't he? He's so statically powerful, Pritchett. Almost no stress in his face either.
Such control. 8 to beat. He's got a 10-year-old boy that he claims is the strongest 10-year-old boy in the world. It's called Bubba, so he sounds like he might be. And just look at this. 35 seconds left to go. He's already on 7. Feels like all the time in the world for him to do whatever he wants. Well, equalised Pena. What else has he got?
Down.
There's another one.
Go
That's
on,
enough.
Jerry.
That's
More.
enough for him. He's just confirming he's done 9, he's done enough, and that's enough for him. He'll save his strength.
Quite
Wow.
right, too.
Absolutely.
You see the bloodshot red eyes? Jeez, this guy is tough. No problem. The 9th, just about as easy as the 1st. He's turned up in as good a shape as I've ever seen.
Absolutely. And genuinely, you'll think I'm joking. I'm not joking. Part of his training is yoga, ballroom, and Zumba. That is true. So he manages 9 reps. You know what? He could have done more as well. He just wanted to inch ahead of Pena with 8. And Luke Richardson, the Brit, managed 7. And Richardson is with Eddie right now.
Luke, 3rd place in the first 2 events. How are you feeling, mate?
Yeah, I mean, I'd have liked to have done a bit better on the deadlift. I knew Farmers was going to be a tough event for me to get 3rd on that. You know, as long as I'm sort of hanging in that top sort of 3, I know that my stones are sort of good enough, I think, to give me a really good chance to get into the final, which is what I came this year to do. So it's not ideal, but at the same time, like, I can't really complain, especially with sort of the difficulties that the competition throws at you, which I'm not used to being my first year, yeah.
Well, mate, I think you're doing absolutely amazing. Your first time here, and I think you're going to make the final. I'm your number 1 fan, I really am. I wish you all the best.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Cheers, mate.
Nice little love in there, and Richardson confident of the final.
Yes, getting his confidence buoyed by Eddie there. He's 4 points behind Pritchett, equal with Pena, but he's got good events to come.
They look like nothing else you'll see on the street. They're incredibly powerful, and they require insane amounts of fuel to keep going. Who knows why strongmen like monster trucks so much? But they do, so they'll be especially happy that these are very much the theme of our next event. We've taken 5 elements out of these Monster Jam trucks, and Heat 1 will be tackling those in the loading race next on the SBD World's Strongest Man. Welcome back to Bradenton, an oasis of sand and sunshine, usually, on Florida's west coast. Here among the laid-back locals, the 25 strongest men in the world are competing for the ultimate strength title. 2 events into our first heat, here's how they stand. Jerry Pritchett leading the way in the automatic qualifying spot, 4 points clear. Remember, the next 2 men go into a special stone-off for this heat's other qualifying place. Ahead of event 3, though, comes unfortunate news. Gabriel Pena has had to withdraw on medical grounds, a huge disappointment for the Texas Titan. He'll watch on as the remaining 4 men face the next event, the Monster Loading Medley. To tell us more, over to Eddie with the reigning World's Strongest Man.
Thanks, James. I'm down with Martin's Lissus at the Monster Medley. These things weigh between 200 and 300 pounds. Lissus, have you ever done a medley as dangerous looking as this?
No, man. This medley particularly looks really awkward. Got these giant barrels, got to stand them up, make sure that they don't fall off. 5 implements total. The other 3, easy to pinch something on.
A really dangerous medley, and me and Lissus do not envy these guys at all. Good luck to them.
What happened to the sandbags, guys?
I'm sitting on them. We couldn't afford chairs this year, could we, Colin?
No, instead we ripped apart a big monster truck. All these different parts, from engine blocks to tyre rims to rear diffs, all have to be loaded. 90 seconds to do it.
So Power Dwyer up first, 4-time Ireland's strongest man, looking light and lean, which will help in what is essentially a running race, up against Robert Oberst, an old hand, crowd favourite in the days where we were allowed crowds.
Ready?
So, on with the engine block first. 250 pounds, that's just over 110 kilos. And look at the speed of the Irishman. You say he's light, but only in comparison to the 188-kilo Robert Oberst.
Down goes the second implement. Oberst, well, making it look a little bit painful.
Yeah, he has to carry his own 30-stone bulk first, which doesn't make things easier. Look at the speed with the tyre rim there. 220 pounds, that's bang on 100 kilos.
That's how you change a barrel. Down, the second one, hands off.
The yellow wheel hub, 250 pounds, very solid and awkward.
Just look at the speed of O'Dwyer.
Amazing, isn't he? Well, that last final red rim, 220 pounds. Like a heavyweight boxer on your shoulder, no problem.
Very fast then from O'Dwyer. Oberst just catching up. This must be placed upright and hands off. That's when we count the time.
So that was just under 60 seconds. As for the Irishman, that was tremendous with that rear differential. It weighs 137 kilos, 300 pounds, equal to him.
So Robert Oberst managed, as he said, under a minute, 56.96 seconds. Currently leading. That fist bump would have hurt. 48.99 for Pa O'Dwyer.
Yeah, what a benchmark to set. That was quick. And after a good deadlift, he's probably feeling pretty good now.
On then to Luke Richardson.
Representing Great Britain.
Be a little bit nervous. Big deadlift, and the farmer's walk didn't really go his way.
Yeah, you would have expected more in the deadlift from a world powerlifting champion, but this guy got the better of him.
Jerry the Iron Outlaw Pritchett.
So America versus Britain in the loading race.
Well, if sheer body weight's anything to go on, I'd expect Richardson to win this. My goodness, he was down, ready to go, but will it be tortoise in the hair? Oh, Richardson, he's jet-propelled as he chucks that engine down.
Well, this is extraordinarily fast from an extraordinarily powerful man.
Yes, my goodness, that rear differential, that's 137 kilos. Now, here we go, 100 kilos on the shoulder.
Well, two very different techniques.
Yes, interesting. The big wingspan of Jerry Pritchett, he can actually just grab it with his hands, doesn't have to get it on the shoulder.
Well, again, it's got to be placed upright, so Richardson saved himself some time there. Though he nearly chinned himself with that hub. Pritchett looking like he's driving a very slow car. And look at this. Look at this from Richardson. 48.99 to beat. Does that, hands off.
Great time there. Now, Pritchett, he's changed technique, I see.
Absolutely. Seems to have learnt from Richardson. Cost himself a lot of time there when he had to pick it up again. Hands off. We'll see what Pritchett has managed.
He's really not doing anything too fast, though, is he? But the rear diff, 300 pounds, has flipped into the hands there. But you're right, it was that wheel hub. My goodness, it nearly clocked him in the chin.
Time of 57.37 seconds.
Well, Jerry Pritchett then, 57.37 seconds. Not a happy man. But Richardson should be delighted, of course. Very fast. Incredible power and great technique. 46.3 seconds.
It's more like it.
Yeah, it is more like it. Don't chin yourself next time.
Luke fast and furious with our monster truck parts, also picking up a useful differential over his rivals, Pa O'Dwyer, while Jerry Pritchett this time coming in last. Overall then, the Iron Outlaw is now just 1 point ahead of Luke, with Pa just a point behind Oberst in fourth. Remember, top man after 4 events goes straight through. The next 2 will go head-to-head in our stone-off. The next challenge looks crucial then, back to Colin and Danny, who are counting overheads.
Yes, thanks, James. A lot at stake here, and it is the overhead press. Lift this log as many times as you can above your head, lock out. You have 75 seconds, and it is man against man. So a lot going on psychologically as well as physically. And Oberst, well, should be feeling confident. This, one of his very, very best events. And he is up, well, against Pa O'Dwyer. Representing Ireland.
O'Dwyer.
Does that every time his name is called. It was a nightmare at school.
But the points here, Colin, could send Pa into the stone-off.
He's got a tough task, there's no doubt about it. Oberst, the former American log lifting record holder, though that was a bit slow from Oberst. He is a very tall man, though, so you always think he shouldn't be good at this kind of event. But really, he's got a massive advantage just because of his pedigree in log pressing. Though I have to say, O'Dwyer here is doing well, and he basically has to beat Oberst if he wants to carry on into the stone-off and get a chance at the final. That's his task.
Well, Oberst staying about 1 ahead of O'Dwyer. Just psychologically, that's so important.
This is a massive one right here. Got to hit it with the legs. Yes. And Oberst, well, 6 reps. He doesn't look that solid. I don't know if O'Dwyer's going to need some divine intervention here. If Oberst does this one, I think it's all over.
Rolls it up the chest, manages to lock it out. That's 7 for Oberst.
Well, this is to finish in style for O'Dwyer. Yes, indeed. 5 at 150 kilos. He's certainly given this first World's Strongest Man a really good go. One more for Oberst to lay down the law. No problem.
Well, why not? 8 for Oberst, 5 for O'Dwyer. Doesn't get those points.
No, but he does put in a good performance. I didn't expect him to do 5 there, Danny. I must admit, I thought Oberst might just have to do 3 or 4, and we watched O'Dwyer struggle. So it was a great flurry at the end by him, for sure. If only his farmer's walk had been better, we could have had a man in the grand final from Ireland.
With 8 reps from the
We'll
USA,
see this guy in the stone-off for the 3rd year in a row. Did he just... Was that for me? I was distracted. It sounded like it was for me.
Maybe it was. I think it was for his son, Atlas. And well done, Robert Oberst. 8 reps. He didn't really need to do that many. Maybe he hopes to go through in first place yet. It's mathematically possible.
Is it?
Absolutely, yes. Were they to 0 the next 2 men, they get 0 points.
All right, well, let's see if they can manage more than 0. I've got a feeling they will. Luke Richardson, then. Will be hoping to do well here. And avoid the stones, get straight through to the final, as will Gerry Pritchett. Someone's going to take on Oberst at the stones. We'll find out who that will be.
So just 1 point between these men. Really, it comes down to whoever wins this goes through straight to the final, and that's a big advantage to have. You want to win this. No one wants to go into the stone off. That'll be brutal. Pritchett just charging off here. 75 seconds. You need a little bit of time management. When you're as strong as these guys, they can pretty much rep for the whole 75.
Richardson equaling Pritchett, but seeming to struggle slightly more.
Yeah, Gerry's just so solid in the core, isn't he? Richardson, he's just that... Well, he's only 23. There's only so much solid core he can have compared to the near 40-year-old Gerry Pritchett, who's never looked stronger.
30 seconds to go.
It's neck and neck at the moment. The American just ahead. There's an equaling 6th, but Pritchett goes ahead again. I guess they've both done more than 0, Danny. So Oberst is definitely in the stone off. And it's 7 equal again. It looks like Richardson, doesn't it? 10 seconds to go.
Pritchett, can he manage 9? Yes. What about... Well, that's it for Richardson. So Richardson will move forward to these stones, but Pritchett, with his 9th, makes it to another final.
Yes, just lifted himself into the grand final there. Great pressing power. The Iron Outlaw. His 3rd ever World's Strongest Man grand final. And it's been a long time coming. 5 years he's been out the game, and he's back with a bang. And now for Richardson, he faces Oberst, who's been in the stone-off twice before, actually twice against Englishmen as well, and has lost 1 and won 1.
Good showing, though, for Richardson. World's tiniest round of applause.
And the winner of the overhead press.
Well, the man who's beaten the world powerlifting champion in deadlift, and now he's just beaten Oberst, the American record holder from the past in log. Goodness, Gerry Pritchett's on form.
Well, on form is right. 17 points then for Gerry Pritchett. Luke Richardson in 2nd place, meaning he will take on Robert Oberst in these stones. But Pritchett, well, he can have a day off now. He'll be in the final.
So, standing between Luke Richardson now and a place alongside Pritchett there, 8 Atlas stones and 1 hairy American monster. A stone-cold showdown awaits next on the SBD World's Strongest Man. Welcome back to the SBD World's Strongest Man. Jerry Pritchett, the outlaw there, looking even scarier than the in-laws. 3 event wins out of 4 for Jerry. He's the first man to make it to the grand final. But who will join him from Heat 1 to decide it's a brand new event for 2020? It's time for an 8-stone showdown. Eddie Hall, what's that actually mean?
8 stones, 140 kilo, right up to 200 kilo. Fastest time wins, 90-second time limit.
Right, what a way to decide this final place from this heat. 200 kilos though for an Atlas stones. How many people are actually going to get that far?
There's not many people on the planet that can do a 200 kilo Atlas stone, yet alone 7 stones before that.
Okay, we've got Luke Richardson going up against Robert Oberst. Now Robert Oberst keeps telling us how he loves to crush British dreams. So
Oberst is all yap. You know, it's all about the guy that's got the most back power. Oberst, not a very good deadlifter. Luke Richardson, powerlifting background, super strong back. I think it's his, hands down.
Okay, it's all going to be on the line. Let's play 8-ball. Over to Colin and Danny.
Well, thanks, James. Yes, 8 stones. I remember when I was 8 stone. And they all get heavier, right the way up to 200 kilos, and you have 90 seconds in which to do it.
Surely no better way of deciding who goes to the final than a stone off. The ultimate strongman test. Now Robert Oberst, he's done 2 of these before. Against Brits as well. Lost one, won one. 8 stones though, this is a different style. Ready? It's ascending order. Now first one, 140 kilos. Magnus Sven Magnusson gets them underway, and I notice he's got some tacky on the back of his hands. He should have it on his forearms because it's slipping on the first one. That's not good.
Not a great start then for Robert Oberst. Minute 15 to go.
Now the tactics here are, do you go fast and try and do, let's say, a fast 5, knowing that you really can't do the 6? Or do you slowly plod away and just try and lift the very heaviest stone you can, because the amount of stones you lift will always trump time.
Oberst, a little fussy here. Very deliberate, though.
Yeah, almost too deliberate. I don't get it. I guess he's been here before. He knows how to lift stones. Watching the first stone, you wouldn't have thought it. He's wondering what's going on here. I think he expected Oberst just to fly out of the gates, but the 4th stone, now 155 kilograms. That's about 340 pounds. Something not right, you know. He just looks slow and too deliberate. Is he carrying an injury?
Obviously, there's something going on, whether it's... I mean, it doesn't feel like a plan.
Oh, there's definitely something wrong there. Robert Oberst on a 160 kilo stone. It doesn't make sense, but if he gets this up, he'll cause trouble for Richardson.
Well, that's that, I'm afraid, for Robert Oberst. That's a confusing event.
Time.
And he was talking about an injury to his shoulder before, but maybe that's got worse after doing the log press, of course, the previous event. Or is it bicep?
Ooh, those were slick.
Slick. Well, not enough tacky, as you pointed out.
No injury excuse. Well, that's interesting.
It ain't gonna be good enough.
He thinks he's not done it. Well, Richardson, he's got the advantage of seeing what the other man's done, so he knows he doesn't have to go that fast. He just has to get 5 on. And he just looks deflated. Maybe he just gave his all in the log, and now the task is ahead of him. He knows exactly what he needs.
And that is a lot of tacky.
The reigning Europe's strongest
well
man.
said.
Well, Oberst had the advantage of his power belly. If you're playing World's Strongest Man bingo at home, power belly will get extra points.
Well, this is the advantage of finishing second in your group, ahead of the man in 3rd place after the 4 events, is he gets to sit back and watch, and he knows exactly what to do. Just 5 stones is all he's got to think about, unless he does 4 in a quicker time. That would also work. That would send him through to the grand final as well. 150 kilo stone, no problem.
Well, Richardson knows what he has to do. Helps going second. Gets this fourth one. Up it goes, no problem.
Well, that's it. He's done it. He's done enough. He's done the fourth in a quicker time. He doesn't need to do this, Danny.
I think maybe the lack of coaches this year, the lack of anyone to tell him to stop.
Yeah.
Or perhaps he just wants to make sure. And he is sure. He's done it. That's 5.
Well, he'll have to do 5 in the World's Strongest Man Grand Final, which is where he finds himself.
Well, look at that face. A beaming smile for Luke Richardson, who did so well.
Yes, the Harrogate boy, a junior world powerlifting champion, Europe's strongest man, and now he's done what the likes of Zydrunas Savickas, Eddie Hall couldn't do in their first time at World's Strongest Man. He's in the grand final.
Well, the people of Harrogate will be having a drink tonight. Very unlike that. And Luke Richardson manages second place, Jerry Pritchett in first. Both men now progress through to the final. And Luke is in the gentleman's area now.
Luke Richardson, that's why they call you the future. Youngest ever European champion, you're through to the final of the world at your first attempt.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good start, isn't it, I suppose? But no, I'm chuffed a bit, really pleased.
Outstanding.
Luke, you've done absolutely phenomenal during the heats, and now you're in the final. Have you been training the final events hard?
Yeah, I've been training all the events as hard as I can, so, you know, to see what the final has to throw at me and, you know, try and take it in my stride like I did in the heat, so I'm feeling good.
Brilliant. Best of luck. We're going to be seeing you, of course, in the final. Next time on World's Strongest Man, we've got the second group of athletes, which includes another couple of Brits. We've got Mark Felix and Adam Bishop going in that, so make sure you tune in. For now, to wrap up this show, it's over to Colin and Danny.
Oh, well, thanks, James. Not too much of us, though, eh, Colin? No. It's not really about us. It's about these guys, and it's about you, sitting there quietly, turning up the volume, getting closer to the TV, and enjoying a montage.
Listen to the band with the low